Hi there, this is Sheryl Lynn Harvey. Welcome to my show. This is a podcast of various topics, so let's just get into it. This was not the way it was supposed to happen. I've been planning this podcast for almost a year, and we were filming and taping and uploading, and then the coronavirus hit. So I don't have my music and my intro and my editor and all that right now. It's just you and me in this microphone. So I'm just going to introduce myself and talk a little bit about what you can expect from the podcast. And then we will move on to, when we get back up and running, we'll have YouTube channel and podcast at the same time. Because I have interviewed some people on Balboa Island, California. If you know where Balboa Island, California is, it is in Newport Beach, Southern California. Gorgeous, beautiful, magical place. And I grew up there. I spent most of my life there. So I started doing interviews with my friends. And so there will be a Balboa Island series. And then I'm going to talk about how to study for a wine test. I have some certifications of my own. And so I'm going to interview some of my wine geek friends. So that'll be fun. And then I'd like to talk about animals because I do volunteering at the shelter. And that's something that's very passionate to me. So going forward, I'll just tell you a little bit about myself, and then we will get into the other episodes later. So introduction, who is Sheryl Lynn Harvey? Well, I grew up with a police officer father and a housewife mother. And my mother tragically passed away in a car accident when I was 10 years old. Then my father became mother and father, and also rose to be number 2 man at the LA Police Department, LAPD. And he was a remarkable man. He passed away a couple years ago. And so anyway, he did a really good job raising my brother and I. He, despite his situation where he was a single, good-looking guy, and he wanted to have a life, and then he was stuck with these 2 children. He did a great job with us. He just was a good man. I don't remember him really teaching us much. I just remember him maybe just leading by example. He just was honest and fair, so humble, super funny, loved to drink his wine and party and have fun. He was the life of the party. He was just an awesome guy. So anyway, so we had a small family. It was just my brother, a year younger than me, and my father and I for many, many years. And we had a good time. It was more like we were buddies instead of family, which, he wasn't really parenting. He was just kind of our friend, but he was a cool guy. So then we lived in San Marino, which is outside of Pasadena, right outside of Los Angeles. And my dad and his current girlfriend at the time, Gail Vingy, bought a house on Balboa Island. And we had it as kind of a summer place. And I remember one time at the dinner table saying, "Hey, why don't we live there?" And my dad said to my brother and I, if all 3 of us agree, we will move there. And it took a year or 2 until that happened. And then we finally did. And we moved there. And wow, it was a great place to grow up. Still is. Beautiful, beautiful place. So as I mentioned in the beginning, there is filming that's being done. And that will be uploaded to YouTube when we get back and running of the island and the businesses and the people. And it's going to be fun. We're going to talk to tourists and locals and businesses, and it's just going to be really super fun. So what do I do? Well, I work for a wine and liquor distributor. So at some point along the way, I thought, why don't I take a couple wine tests? And I ended up getting a lot of pretty serious certifications. I kind of dove in for 3 years, and I'll talk about that on some of the podcasts, what I did to make myself successful. One of my biggest ones was having a study buddy, Jay Gilmore, and I'm hoping to interview him as well, although he hasn't committed 100%. I do currently live in Newport Beach, California. I don't live on Balboa Island right now, but I live close by. And I have a lot of really good friends, and I have a full life. I volunteer at Mariners Church in Irvine. I volunteer at the animal shelter in Tustin, the Orange County Animal Shelter. And I don't know, I just have a fun life. I've had some minor health issues in the last couple of years, which I'll talk about probably on one of the podcasts soon, because they were autoimmune situations. And with this coronavirus that we're going through, a lot of people like myself are susceptible to this virus, only because if you don't keep your immune system healthy, everything else falls apart. So I'd love to do an episode about food and your tummy and what that does for your health. Because I did cut out sugar, gluten, and dairy for at least a year. I'm probably never going to go back to all three. In fact, I haven't had any sugar or much dairy since then, 2 years. My favorite thing in the whole world is ice cream, but I haven't had any. But I did make a nice cream out of bananas, pineapples, and nut butter, which is a really killer recipe that I'll talk about. So anyway, in this midst of being at home, everybody's at home. I am still currently working because we are stocking the grocery store shelves and the liquor stores for the people who need their groceries and wine and beer and liquor. And so anyway, I'm very lucky. I'm blessed that I have a job and that I'm able to get out in the community still. And I'm keeping my distance and I'm being responsible, but I'm just very lucky. I'm just a very lucky person, I guess. So what can you expect from this podcast? Well, you can expect no cussing, hopefully. I mean, I'm not going to completely guarantee that because I've been known to cuss a few times. But I want to keep it a clean podcast, and I want to keep it to about 20 minutes per episode so you can listen to it on your drive to work or whatever, just to get a little bit more in depth about what it's like to live on Balboa Island and Newport Beach, California in general. So anyway, I hope that you tune in. I don't have all my links and this and that and hit that and subscribe, and I don't even know how to do that yet. This is still in the works of me getting this all ready. So I'm just going to put some content out there, get this started so that when we're back up and running, when we have our lives back again that we knew before. I'm not saying that we don't have a life now, because this is not the end of the world. I know there's some people that are sick and that they have passed away from this virus. But for the rest of us, it's time for us to just slow down, spend time with your family, spend some time with outdoor walks, get to know. Unfortunately, it's been raining here for weeks, which is so unusual for Southern California. It's kind of weird. But anyway, so we're doing the best we can. We're trying to stay sane, and we're trying not to get depressed, and we're trying to get stuff done. You know, there's so many things you can do around your house. I know I have piles of stuff that, I'll get to that later. I'll get to that later. Like, I would love right now to go into my garage and organize all my photo albums and pictures. But in the current state of things right now, I think we're all kind of scared, and we're all kind of a little semi-depressed, and it's kind of hard to take on projects when you're in that mode. So anyway, I hope you're all safe, and your families are safe, and that everybody's healthy. And I hope that this podcast will take a turn and change in the next 60 days. Today is March 22nd. We are on a lockdown in California, I think for almost another month. I think it is another month. The restaurants are closed. They're doing takeout food. They're trying to stay alive. We have a couple recorded podcasts of restaurants already, so it'll be kind of fun to circle back and do another update. But anyway, I don't know. I just wanted to do this because I thought it would be fun, and I love to connect with people. I'm a super, super social person. So take care. tune in. You can always let me know what you want to talk about. If there's something else you want to talk about. Let me see. I had a little card done. My Facebook is Sheryl Harvey. My Instagram is Sheryl Lynn Harvey, and that's with an S, Sheryl with an S. And my Twitter account is Sheryl Lynn Harvey 1. So, like me on Facebook, and I hope to hear you, or see you here. I hope to hear from you and see you soon. Thank you. Take care. Be safe. Stay healthy.